today in this webinar, Yelp, is not a four-letter word. The objectives today is, number one, to review online reputation, talk about that. Number two, I want to teach you how to claim your Yelp listing. I am amazed how many businesses have not yet claimed their Yelp listing. I'm going to teach you how to use the Yelp check-in feature, which is a very powerful tool. Then we're going to go into how to utilize email to build reviews, not only on Yelp, but on other review channels as well. And then, of course, we're going to finish the presentation today with questions and answers. Online Reputation 101, Yelp. Simply put, the reason why Yelp is so important, and this is one of the key takeaways in this presentation, is this. Yelp is the search engine that is tied to the iPhone. iPhone is by far the most popular, sorry about that, folks. Some dogs in the background there. Sorry about that. The Yelp is by far the most important aspect of the search engines for the iPhone. And why that's important is people today like to go to Siri and simply say, Siri, find me a car dealership near my location. Sorry about that, folks. Little technical glitch right there for a second. But going back to what I was saying is the iPhone is tied to Siri, and the Siri is tied to Yelp. So if you don't have a good Yelp presence, it is very, very detrimental because now somebody can't find you. One of the things I recommend after the webinar, simply take your iPhone and simply say, if you're a car dealer, if you're a dentist, whoever you might be, whatever it is, ask Siri, car dealers near my location. And you will be amazed, because I do it all the time, that business that I'm standing in doesn't show up on the iPhone. And that's because they don't have a proper Yelp listing. Because when iPhone goes to do their search, they're searching against the Yelp database. So it's very important that you make sure that you do have your listing on Yelp properly up. But your online reputation, the facts of the matter are, it's really simple. A bad online reputation is going to hurt sales. 90% of shoppers start their research online. 90%. Now that's conservative. I think it's actually probably like 95%. With the iPhone and the smartphones, people today, before they make any purchases, they're simply going to their phone and doing research. And that's why it is so important that you have a good online reputation. 72% of consumers say that a positive review is going to impact whether or not they do business with a local company. So if you have a bad online reputation, it is costing you money. It's really that simple. With automotive, because we put a lot of energy in automotive, 19 out of every 100 cars sold results in a negative review. 19%. That's a huge number. So for every 100 cars that you sell, the average car dealership sells anywhere from 100 to 200 cars a month. Let's just say on the low side, 100 cars. So for every month, just by doing normal course of business, you're going to get 19 negative reviews. Those negative reviews are going to impact your sales not only today, but in the long run. Because when consumers decide where they're going to buy their next car or what dealership they're going to go into for service, and they go online and they see that you've got bad reviews, they're not going to stick with you. Now, this is a surprising little fact that you may not understand, and I didn't understand it for a while either. Most people look at the service reviews, and when we did a deeper dive into that question, why is service so important to you? The consumers told us the reason why service is important is this. you know, if you look here, people are willing to draw. It has a better online reputation. I point that out as this. In the car business, there's an old saying, a satisfied service customer will eventually buy a new vehicle. Well, if your service department is losing customers and you are getting hammered out there on all of the review channels because you're not doing a good job in service, that is going to affect you, because those people that you lost not only are bad-mouthing you and affecting whether or not people want to come to your dealership in the future, but you've now lost a future sales opportunity. So it's very important that you deal with your online reputation. Now with Yelp in particular, if you can simply get a 1-star increase on your Yelp rating, that's going to increase a 5 to 9% increase in your revenue. Think about that. If you're doing, you know, an average business of about $1 million a year, which I know most businesses are considerably higher than that, a 1-star increase can bring in an extra $50,000 to $90,000. Small amount of money that you invest into protecting your online reputation and making sure that you're doing everything possible to make sure that you do well with this is going to return back, you know, a tenfold return on investment. It's very powerful. And the things that I'm going to show you really don't cost much. It's just, you know, taking the time to do them. These are some facts from Yelp. 75 million monthly unique desktop visitors. 86 million monthly unique mobile visitors. Yelp is very, very popular. Yelp, as most of you know, started out with really as restaurant reviews and has morphed into something much larger. But as of 2016, there is over 110, well, can't get the number right, it's so big. 102 million reviews are posted on Yelp. What Yelp does is they've made and created kind of what I call a little bit of a subculture. You could even call it a little clicky if you want. It's a clique. It's a group of people that are just Yelpers. And those Yelpers are very loyal. They're so tight as a group that they actually will message other Yelp users. Now, I never really believed that until I started really working on Yelp, because in order for me to tell you about it and teach you about Yelp, I wanted to make sure that I knew everything about Yelp. So about 4 years ago, I dove into Yelp. And I'm a pretty good Yelper. And there are people out there that will actually follow me and then respond and reply back to my reviews, because I'm not, you know, one of those guys who's just going to go out there and just give a good Yelp review. I'll call it like I see it. You know, I tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly on everything. And I have people that come back and thank me for being so honest and telling this. And I even had business owners, when I've given them a bad review, they'll go and they'll look at my Yelp reviews to make sure that I'm not just one of those guys, because there are certain people out there that, you know, will only put a Yelp a restaurant if they have a bad Yelp review. And that goes true for whatever your business is, whether you're a restaurant, a dentist, a car dealer, a real estate agent. They're not going to do business. A Yelper will not do business with you if you have bad Yelp reviews. You don't believe me? You know, do some research on your own, but I'm telling you, it's a fact. It's what we're seeing out there. So it's very important that you pay attention to Yelp. You can't just ignore it. One of the first things that you need to do is you need to claim your Yelp listing. This part amazes me, because a lot of people have not claimed their Yelp listing. There's 2.8 million local businesses that have been claimed on Yelp. We know there's millions more that haven't been. It's free to claim your Yelp business, and you need to do that. You're now going to have the opportunity to reach an audience of local prospects that want to interact with you. Let's take a little deeper dive into this. This is what an unclaimed Yelp page looks like. You notice there's no information here. It's very boring, no photos. But if you look over here, it says right here, work there, work here, claim this business. The single most important reason why you need to, after this presentation, go claim your Yelp listing is this. If you don't, someone else can. I know it sounds unethical, but people do it. I've seen it happen with Google Plus pages, Yelp. Your competition, somebody can go out there and covertly steal your Yelp listing, and then you have got to fight to get it back. For your own protection, after this webinar, take the time to go make sure you've claimed your Yelp listing. The other thing I will tell you is this: if you are a car dealership, make sure that whoever is going to claim the Yelp listing, you use an email address that is not going to disappear. I've had multiple clients of mine come to me, and they had an employee claim the Yelp listing a few years ago. That employee no longer works at the dealership. That email address no longer exists, and it's almost impossible to get that Yelp listing back. You have to go through all of these processes. I got some dealers that have been working on it for 4 or 5 months, and they still cannot get control of their Yelp listing because they don't have the original email address that was used to set up the Yelp listing. That's something that's very important that you need to do in this process. So now you go claim your Yelp listing. It's very simple. You click on the button and you just follow the process. And you want to make sure that with your Yelp listing, once you get it, you take the time to make sure that you make it look nice. You put in your hours. You put some pictures in there. You put information. And then you start adding things in there that link back to your website. And it's important to keep that information updated. If you change things, if you change your phone numbers, it's important that you do that. The other recommendation I will give you when it comes to this is don't waste your time and energy putting a call tracking number on there. People do that, and unfortunately in the business we're in, call tracking numbers come and go. You change them, and all of a sudden, if somehow you change your call tracking providers and you don't switch this number, it's going to create a lot of problems because now some people are going to be calling a phone number that doesn't work. You're also much better using a local phone number because it makes it easier and more searchable. So keep it simple. The other thing is, this is an online listing. It's going to get out there. It's going to get cached out there on a lot of servers and people's different systems. You want to make sure you have a number in there that is going to be a consistent number from now until the cows come home. Make it very simple. Keep it clean and stay organized. The other thing I wanted to just share with you as I'm thinking about it is I'm going through a lot of information. There's a lot of information in this PowerPoint. At the end of the presentation, feel free to email me and I'll give you a copy of my deck. This is not like proprietary. I'm not one of those guys who doesn't want to share my information. You're more than welcome to have this, and you can use this as a roadmap and follow the slides to go back and make sure you're covering all of these pieces. So I want you to follow the steps in this presentation because that's really where the benefit is. You'll be able to go back and refer back, well, did we take care of making our listing? Did we get these different things? Because now as we dive into the check-in feature, this is a part that is so powerful for you, and I'm going to go into a lot more detail. So if you feel like you're getting overwhelmed, trying to take notes, I can give you a call to being successful with Yelp. Yelp has a feature called a check-in. Now, for those of you who have never been a Yelper, you need to become a Yelper. But with Yelp, when you go to a location, you can click and you can check in. And all you're doing is you are letting Yelp know that you're actually in the business. And why that is so important is you're listening in, will cross-reference that person who's leaving the review with a check-in, and if that check-in shows that they were at your location, they know that it is an authentic review. One of the reasons why Yelp is so powerful and so impactful with the Yelpers is this. They know that they have the strongest and the most effective review verification process. Let me say that one more time. They have the most powerful and most effective review verification process out there today. If you've been looking and playing with online reputation for the last couple of years, you know there's a lot of people out there that have done some things that were illegal, little shady. You know, there were companies out there that you could hire and they would, give you a bunch of fake reviews. Well, Yelp, because it's GPS based, has prevented that because they know where you are when you're leaving a review. For example, I'm in Florida. I've been here for a couple days. I've done a couple Yelp reviews. I actually got a notification, got an email from Yelp, hey, we just wanted to confirm that you're in Florida because we see a lot of activity in Florida. Folks, they're not messing around. They are paying attention to where you are. So as you're checking in and you're traveling around, they're going to know where you are. So by using a check-in offer, it gives your consumers an opportunity to check in while they're at your business. Very important feature. So you want to put some point of purchase material out there to encourage them to check in. So because it's GPS based, now Yelp knows that Mr. or Ms. Customer was actually at your dealership, and then a day or so later, or even that same day, when they leave a review, they are now confirmed, and that review will not be filtered. Now, what's nice about this is when you do a check-in at your business, you have the opportunity to give them a special. I personally love this feature, especially in the automotive space. Let's take an example for you. Service. We always want to get more reviews in service, as we mentioned earlier, a critical part of the entire car sales process and the car ownership process. So now we have a customer who's sitting in the service waiting lounge, and they're sitting there waiting for their car, and they see the little sign that says, check in on Yelp for special offers for our Yelpers. They go and they check in. You now got them checked in at your dealership, so Yelp knows that the person's actually there, and it comes up and it gives them a little offer. Bring this to the cashier to receive your discount. You can either do a discount for this purchase or a discount for a future purchase. What I found that works very effective is giving a complimentary safety inspection. Doesn't cost you anything, but it gives you an opportunity to provide a service and a value to the consumer. So now, Mr. Customer sitting there, he checks in, all of a sudden the offer comes up, says, thank you for checking in. Please bring this to the cashier so we can give you your complimentary safety inspection. Now, let's take a second, let's do a deeper dive, okay? And this is applicable for any business, but we're going to focus on automotive for a second. Mr. Customer, who's waiting for their car in service, has now let you know that he is checked in on Yelp. So you have a potential review, good or bad. But now your team should be on high alert, because it is very important that we make sure that we take the service to the top level for this particular customer. So what I would recommend is when that happens, the cashier writes the information down and immediately takes that to the service writer who is overseeing that car. And you should put a red sticker or some sort of notification on that customer folder letting them know that you've got a Yelper in the house. And you make sure that they get that complimentary safety inspection, and you make sure that that oil change that is supposed to be a 30-minute oil change takes 30 minutes. I don't care if you got to bump another customer, okay? Because if that, I'm just telling you, if that minute oil change takes an hour and 10 minutes or 35 minutes, that review is probably going to be negative. But you want to make sure that you get that customer in and out. And what I recommend, the dealers that are following this process are having a lot of success, is they actually have the service manager come out to the customer and they review the safety inspection with the customer at that point. And they just thank them for their time. And as that customer is getting in their car, getting ready to drive away, the service manager simply says, Mr. Customer, we really appreciate your business. And if you're happy with the service today, would you be so kind as to simply just share that with other people on Yelp for me? That simple little process works extremely well, because now the customer, he's been given that red carpet treatment. He feels good about the situation. He's already checked in. So now he goes back to Yelp and goes and leaves a review. Yelp knows because the GPS told him that he's checked in there, and now Yelp sees a positive review. And think about this, folks, and if you've ever played with Yelp at all, you know that Yelp is very quickly going to put up negative reviews. Every negative review seems to make it right past the filters. It's the positive reviews, the ones that we need out there, that seem to always get filtered. But by the person checking in and then giving the review, those reviews are authentic and pass the filters. It works extremely well. So I highly recommend you use this process, and you will see that it will dramatically improve your rankings. Every 5 seconds, a call is made to a local business from a smartphone. And why this? Those people are finding that information through the directory. The more you have, higher your story of Yelp will affect how you show up in that search directory. So it's very important that you follow the steps to make sure you're doing what you can to get a good review on Yelp. Here's a couple things that you may not know. Yelp has been dominating search results for local queries since about 2014. Small business owners can earn up to $8,000 per year simply by using their free Yelp account. And when people use the check-in offer, now we're going to take another little deeper dive into how to get more Yelp reviews. You can utilize email, and if you do it carefully and efficiently, you should see very strong results. What I recommend is you simply send an email out to all of your customers within 7 to 10 days of coming in for business. If you wait a month, people aren't going to remember. More importantly, they're not going to pay attention. But you simply send them a nice email asking about their customer experience. In order to see within all of the guidelines of the various companies out there, you want to make sure that you give them an opportunity to leave. You cannot. There's companies out there that are doing it, but it's a violation of Google's policies. You cannot send out an email and say, if you're happy, click here. If you're not happy, click there. Because Google, I know we're talking about Yelp, but Google is kind of the leader. They lead everything. Google looks at that as filtering. Because what happens is you click yes, you're happy, it takes you to another page and it gives you an opportunity to leave a review. If you're not happy, it goes back to wherever so they can try and fix it. We have found that you want to send out an email, and if you want to stay within all the guidelines, the email needs to go out, and it needs to simply say, if you're happy, leave us a review, and you give them the choices, and those buttons should link directly back. But you want to say that if you're not satisfied, you put a not satisfied button on there. By doing it where the person has the choice at the same time, you're not filtering the process. And Google and everybody likes that a lot better. It's a lot cleaner. And if somebody is unhappy, they can click on the not satisfied button, and it gives you the opportunity to fix the problem. And it's very important that you fix the problem. You cannot just ignore the problem, because only 4% of unhappy customers will complain to you. But those 4%, okay, they're going to tell everybody they know. But 90% of the customers, okay, that you work with and you fix a problem will come back to you. And I know this doesn't sound like it happens a lot, but there have been times, especially on Yelp, where I have had clients, because with Yelp, it's not one of those hidden things. The information of the person leaving you the bad review is available, but they've gone back to the person and, hey, Mr. Customer, I'm sorry to hear what happened. You know, let me see if we can fix it. If you go back and fix a problem, that customer, after they feel that the problem has been fixed, can actually change the review, take it down, and correct the situation, so now you're not having a blemish out there on your online reputation. Get off this webinar, please Take the time to go claim your Yelp listing. The next thing you need to do is use your Yelp check-in feature. And then you simply want to ask for reviews. Now, I don't want to create a big stir, but I do want to address the elephant in the room. A lot of people don't like Yelp. I understand that. Yelp, unfortunately, is kind of like the mafia to some extent for the online situation. And I say that in a very honest and blunt way, not to say anything negative about Yelp, but the fact of the matter is you need to be aware of this simple fact. As you start utilizing Yelp and getting more Yelp reviews, you will at some point get the dreaded Yelp phone call. Someone from Yelp's call center will call you up and they will say, congratulations, Mr. Business Owner. We see that you're getting a lot of Yelp reviews and a lot of our Yelpers are looking at your business. And I wanted to call and let you know that we have a great advertising program to help you do a better job marketing to the Yelp community. Please, whatever you do, don't hang up. Don't seriously be filtered. I know it sounds kind of like blackmail to some extent, but the fact of the matter is it happens. It happens on a regular basis. People have tried to sue Yelp. They've tried to do class action lawsuits, and the fact of the matter is Yelp has very deep pockets, and they've won all of those cases. I've had dealer clients of mine talk about how they want to sue Yelp and they want to go after them. And the bottom line is you're not going to win. And I always say in life, you need to pick your battles. What I recommend is this. When you get that dreaded phone call, instead of getting upset and getting your feathers ruffled, simply go back and say, well, tell me a little bit about your program. What do you have available? And then simply say, this is new for us. We're not a big dealership. We're not a big business. And buy their least expensive package. You have to keep in mind, they have algorithms that are watching the number of visits, the number of reviews, all of that information. Making $10, $15 an hour, picks up the phone and calls you trying to sell you a product. They have no idea about your business. They don't know who you are. They don't know what you are. They don't know what you sell. All they know is, hey, I got somebody I need to call, and I get paid for calling people and selling something. All that person on the end of the line is concerned with is making a sale. Give them a small win. Give them a little something. Don't get into a big debate. And I've been on those calls. I've spoken to the people. I've got calls with my clients. And it is absurd what you get for what you're paying for. It's literally a joke from an advertising standpoint. Okay? But if you don't buy something and give them a win, it's amazing. It's kind of like magic. The next day, after you said no, all of your listings somehow become filtered. I know there are people that are going to call me up after this webinar and say, you know, whatever, and they're going to be upset. All I'm doing is telling you the facts, and there's an old saying in life, don't shoot the messenger. So pay them something. The other benefit with paying them something is it gives you the opportunity to work with somebody over there. If you do get somebody who leaves you a bad review, you can call up and you can dispute the review and things like that, because believe it or not, your competition you're going to need to make that phone call to Yelp and say, hey, I got this problem, or this is something we dispute. We don't believe this is a valid review. And if you have been a client and customer of theirs, they will take care of you. I know it sounds horrible, but it's one of those things that you need to do to really protect your dealership and your business. So those are the review items we want to go over. Here's some suggested resource. I'll leave this up for a few minutes. You can go to my website. I will recommend if you go to my Testimonial Builder website, there is a section on Testimonial Builder where we have a bunch of videos. I've done a number of videos. They're like short little, anywhere from 2 to 5 minute videos that tell you a little bit more in detail about things. But these are some of my websites you can go look at for additional resources. And as we close this up, let's review a couple action items. First thing you need to do is review your business or your dealership's current online reputation strategy. Log in to your Yelp business account. If you don't have a Yelp business account, you need to set one up by claiming your Yelp listing. The next piece is set up a Yelp check-in offer. It could be something as simple as 10% off your next purchase, a complimentary safety inspection, a free tire rotation. It doesn't have to be, some huge offer. Give them something. Restaurants are notorious for this. You check in at Yelp and they give you a free cup of coffee, okay, or a free dessert, or a 50% off an appetizer on your visit. The thing about it is people like getting something. They like that, especially considering if you're going to give them a review, they're going to give you a review, they want a little something. And then the last piece is email your customers after they've left and ask them to give you a review. So at this point, what I want to do is I'm going to open up now, and here comes, wow, we got a bunch of them in here. Okay. Well, this was somebody telling me that there was when you mean filtered, you mean non-recommended reviews. Yes, that is correct. When I say filtered, I mean non-recommended review. They kind of change the verbiage, but it's a non-recommended review. That's correct. Okay. Have you heard of any business getting their, I don't know why they make this so small to read. Have you heard of any business getting their Yelp account I apologize, it's very removed completely. Yes, I have heard of businesses getting their Yelp account removed completely. If you sue Yelp, okay, they will actually flag you as a problem account, and there's been situations where I've heard that some businesses have actually had their Yelp account completely removed. Something along the lines with them, and it can be a small amount. I mean, I've got some of my dealers that have followed that approach, and there's been a couple people that have come up to me because I did this speech for Digital Dealer, I think 2 years ago, or similar speech, and people came up to me afterwards and they said that they tried that approach and it worked extremely well, and now they have a relationship with Yelp and they've been able to go back to Yelp in certain situations. So yes, I highly recommend that you do get set up with Yelp. Let's see. Next question is, how soon should you respond to a bad Yelp review? Honestly, it's very important that you respond as fast as possible. And what I would do is I would recommend, if you can, look up the person and contact them privately. The problem is this. If you start going back and forth, bantering back and forth, you're going to expose yourself to everyone else. And even if you try to handle it nicely, there's going to be people who think that you didn't handle it nicely. you're better off trying to handle this privately. I know a lot of people don't like doing this, but if possible, I would pick up the phone and call them. I was with a dealer probably a year or so ago, and he had a terrible, and I brought it to his attention, and was sitting in his office. He just picked up the phone and called the person. I was like kind of shocked because I had never thought to do that. And he picked up the phone, called the person, talked to him, and was able to get the situation resolved. He did a couple things for them, and next thing you know, that review disappeared. Okay, next one. How do you send emails to your customers? Okay, that's a little bit of a different question. Really, my best recommendation is you use a third-party system. I know everyone's heard of Constant Contact. Constant Contact really wouldn't be the best for this, but there's a lot of other email providers that are inexpensive. But you don't want to be trying to send these emails out of like your CRM and things like that. You want to get a different system, because if you're going to be sending out, you know, $100 a month for an email deployment system that will make sure that those emails are getting delivered. And it's important that you do that, because you want to make sure you can send out all the emails in the world, but if they're not getting through the spam filters, you know, contact me if I've missed. And oh, there we go. The audio connection is restored. The storm is really wreaking havoc, I guess, with the information out there. Here's the last question. And this is an interesting question, and quite honestly, I'm not sure how to answer it. The question is, how is Yelp with regards to medical and dental? I don't really have a specific answer for that question. I apologize. I'll do a little bit of research and I'll try and get back to you. I do know that other businesses are using Yelp, and people are searching for it. I imagine that people are looking, you know, for information on Yelp for medical and dental, simply because Yelp is the search engine tied to Siri. Let me just say that one more time. When you go on your iPhone and you ask Siri for a business, whether it be a car dealership, a doctor, a dentist, a plumber, an electrician, a pharmacy, an RV dealership, whatever you're asking for, if you're not listed in the Yelp directory, they're not finding you. I was with a client the other day, and he was an arborist. Okay, he's an arborist, a tree guy. And I got frustrated because I was running late to see him. And I'm asking Siri, and I'm asking tree repair, tree trimming, arborist, lawn care. I couldn't find them anywhere because he wasn't listed on the Yelp directory. So it was very difficult. Okay, so I got one more question come in. Is this webinar available in a recording? Yes. If you email me, I will send you the recording. I've got to get it converted and stuff like that, but I will get it available for you, and I'll also send you the deck. So if there's no more questions, I'll wait another minute or two to see if there's any more questions, but I do appreciate everybody's time. Like I said, you can visit my website, which is www.testimonialbuilder.com. That's one of our new companies. It actually was developed from what we learned in working in the online reputation business. And what we found there was when we would ask customers to leave a review, 80% of them clicked on the not satisfied button, 80% of them. So what we tried to do was find a way to build a tool that would give a business the opportunity to get a positive review at the time of delivery, at the time of service. So we created Testimonial Builder. It's a new product. It's a mobile app. You can go check it out online, testimonialbuilder.com, or just go to the Apple Store or the Android Store and search for the app. You can download the app for free. And what's nice about the app is it gives you the ability to film a video testimonial at the time of service or time of delivery. And the app will automatically syndicate that positive review across the web and get you a lot of exposure, but also gives you the ability to share it with the person who gave you the review. Of course, most people will then share it with their friends on Facebook. The average person has about 350 friends, so it gets a lot of exposure. But it's a great way to counteract bad reviews. Why it ties into this is once you have that positive review up on the web, you can also take that review and you can put it up and promote it through Yelp as well. So you get even more exposure, which is one more way to get you more exposure. The last question is, did I say the app is free? Yes, I did. Thanks for clarifying that. The app is free. You can download it for free. You could use it 7 times for free if you like it. Then you could purchase it for as little as $4.95 a month, for an individual user, or an entire business could buy the business package. So it's very inexpensive to use, and the more features that you purchase with it, of course, the more expensive it's going to be. Well, this is Peter Martin, the Web Doc. I want to thank you all for joining me. Hopefully where you are, you're not stuck indoors or snowed in too bad. I hope everybody is enjoying their day off, that they're in a situation where they're not there. And tune in every month. Check out the website, because every month we're going to be doing different webinars covering different topics. And as always, if there's any time that I can do to help you or answer any questions you might have, feel free to call me. My phone number, I'm going to leave it up after the presentation, or email me, and I'm more than happy to help you. And